All right, well, now it's time for our very first interview in studio, and someone who has been itching to come in and hang out with us. You've heard a lot about him. You've heard a lot about Unparalleled. Jaret Smith, welcome. Well, welcome to the casting couch, basically. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I got 3 cameras and Morrissey's inching closer towards me. So I feel like I'm on casting couch.
Dustin, we'll keep an eye on Dustin.
Yeah, my hand's behind the couch for now.
This obviously interview hasn't made the cut yet, so we'll see how you do and see if this makes it into episode 14 or not.
Sounds good.
The bar is pretty low.
Yeah. So first off, I guess talk about a bit about yourself. You know, you're what I like to call a red deer transplant, living in Calgary now, but from Fort McMurray, right? And came here to play your AAA hockey?
Yeah, and actually I came down before that in grade 6 for a year, and then we moved back to Fort Mac, and then I moved back down in the summer going into grade 9, and then went back to Fort Mac just before grad in grade 12, and then stayed there for first half of my junior year, my first year.
So what makes you keep coming back?
Grandma's cooking.
It's a pretty good answer.
Yeah.
Dustin, I'm going to keep that mic noise in, Dustin, because that was Dustin's belly hitting the mic stand.
That thing's not getting smaller.
When he laughed.
Hopefully come July 1st, I can get rid of this barrel, but for now it's here.
So Jaret, this is the kind of professionalism you can expect for like the next half hour or so. So let's start.
Yeah,
let's talk about Unparalleled. You know, it's something you're a pretty young guy, definitely a lot younger than us, and something you've started now, been going for a couple of years, and it's really grown into a lot, right? You started, I think, as headwear, and now you're into almost everything.
Yeah, it actually started as a project for a university course. We had to create a business, so I didn't really know what to create because everyone was creating all these crazy ideas that were just basically on a sheet and nothing was coming of it. So I wanted to actually create something that gave me experience. So I thought, why not a clothing brand? And I started with, 10 hats, 10 shirts, and then just kind of went from there. And then I found that the headwear was doing really good. So I did that for 2 years, and then people kind of started asking for more. So then I started putting out different stuff, and now I'm kind of trying to tailor towards, sports teams and golf courses too on doing their custom orders, just because of, I guess, the price savings that I can provide. Whereas, going through another supplier where there's maybe 4 or 5 different people in the supply chain, there's just me and my supplier. So I can, save costs there.
So do you do all the design of everything?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I kind of find ideas and try and implement what I want to do with them. And then I have a graphic designer that I work with who's actually my roommate's girlfriend. So it's pretty handy.
Nice.
So with Unparalleled, because, getting to know you the last couple of years through the wrestlers and stuff, on social media, it's you have the apparel company, but it's also almost like a lifestyle thing with some of the videos you got out, and it's really cool. But is it just you with Unparalleled, or do you have partners, or like you said, you had graphic designers and people that help out? But is it basically just you behind the scenes?
Yeah, right now. And then obviously like a lot of my friends help push sales to other people and get it to grow, and just kind of meeting the right people. Like, I mean, I played with David Boychuk in Stony Plain. So his brother's Johnny Boychuk. And last year in the bubble, he put in like a 50 hat order, and all the Islanders were rocking it around the bubble. So just little things like that to help the brand grow. And even in, a couple years ago with Manziel going to the CFL, I kind of took a shot in the dark, sent him a bunch of hats, and then he was rocking 2 in TSN interviews, and then he turned around and ordered, like a $500 order. So it's just little things like that, and friends and family helping the brand grow, and, kind of trying to come up with new ideas to put things that you might not see in stores out there, or just combining ideas and putting them out there.
And now you have Ryan Lund wearing the Unparalleled logo and with his 112 Instagram followers and 2 photos.
Yeah, but it's trending upwards, so I'm gonna be hitting those Manziel Boychuk numbers real soon.
Yeah, I heard you applied for the blue check mark too.
Yeah, I did.
True? Okay.
Yeah, I don't want someone stealing my brand. So, speaking of your brand, where did the name Unparalleled come from?
Beer brand.
Yeah. Okay. Wait a minute. Were you meaning to say gear brand?
I don't know what I was meaning to say.
Have another drink.
My question was, where did the name Unparalleled come from?
I honestly don't really know. It's just a word that I stumbled upon and I didn't really know what it meant. So I Googled it. Just, meaning nothing's the same, right? When I kind of look at everyone's life, like no one has similar paths and everyone goes through different, adversity and different things to get to where they're going. So I think that everyone's path is pretty unparalleled in a way. So I thought it was fitting. So that's why I chose that name.
Well, it's funny. You stumbled upon it on the name, and Dustin stumbles on it every time he tries to say it.
Or spell it too. Those too many L's at the end of that thing. I was like, oh,
Hey,
man.
That
Don't
is when
worry.
you have to look like which L is where, and yeah, I still have to look every time I write it out, like on social media and stuff, just to make sure.
Don't worry. When I have to say it on the phone to people, like giving my email, I got to like read it off my card to make sure I'm doing it right. So.
And so now you're posted up in Calgary. Let's talk a little bit more about, because you're a little bit of an entrepreneur. You have a microgreen business going too.
Yeah, so this is just kind of phase one right now with the vertical farm. So what we did was we took shipping containers and converted these shipping containers into basically, full on grow units with electricity and stuff, and made it basically a 365-day farm in there. So with one shipping container, you can actually farm about 3 acres of land in there, which is pretty crazy to think about. But the idea came from going to the grocery store in COVID and having no good produce and having to resort to frozen veggies because of, supply chain hiccups and bottlenecks with the borders being closed. So I thought it might be a good idea to try and do something like that. And I met someone who was like-minded, and, we're just kind of getting started right now. But I think the plan moving forward is to move not only, I wouldn't say away from microgreens, but expand into things like tomatoes and strawberries and raspberries and garlic and just stuff that, you don't get to grow all year round in Canada just because the growing season is only, 4, maybe 5 months. So having the ability to do it indoors, all year round is something that I think is also trending upward in the world. And you see places like California throwing, a couple $100 million. There's $1 billion vertical farm put in there. So I think it's the way of the future in some capacity.
Well, you're speaking to a guy who owns 2 strawberry plants. So
If you need 4 strawberries for an order,
if you need any advice or any helpful hints, I'm your guy. And I've also planted some peppers, some lettuce. Although the lettuce
how's the lettuce doing?
lettuce isn't doing too hot right now, but this is my first foray into backyard gardening,
Yeah.
and I'm killing it, man. So if you're looking for a third partner in your storage microgreen business, hit
You
me
better
up.
call Lund's mom because she's the one who planted all
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, shout out to my mom.
Kelly.
And I mean, the guy hasn't weed whacked in about 4 years either. So just maybe take a quick peek in his backyard before you actually go down that path.
Yeah, we got rules we got to follow at the shop. We got to try to get our GAP approval here. We can't be having garbage laying around.
We'll hire someone for that, man. We
I
can,
was going to consult you.
I'll be a consultant.
Okay,
That's my specialty.
But really, those microgreens, like they really are trendy. I see them now, like a lot of farmers markets. Like you can kind of buy them prepackaged
Yeah.
for meals and stuff. And I mean, obviously, I'm a guy who eats a lot of vegetables just by looking at me. But they're pretty good too. So when I heard, actually, Mike Dempster told us that you were going into that, I thought that's a pretty cool venture too. So you got your hand in a couple different things right now.
Yeah, honestly, if you would have asked me like even a year ago if this is what I'd be doing, I probably would have called you like insane. But it is like, obviously health and wellness is important. It's played a big factor in my life, but I just think that, we got to support more locally in Canada. Like COVID made me realize like how much we depend on other countries for our produce when we can produce it here ourselves, right? So keep that money locally and provide good products, and we won't have to rely on, places like California and New Mexico and stuff like that. So
Well, and I'm going to jump a bit because when you talk about relying on other places, you told me a story a little while back. You know, you with Unparalleled, you've had some supplier issues,
Ugh.
especially through COVID, and a pretty interesting happening between two different suppliers overseas.
Yeah, so actually this one guy, you know, like having WhatsApp, like we all have it, but I probably get at least 10 messages a day from just random, you know, suppliers in Asia or Bangladesh or Pakistan. And this one guy, you know, he texted me and told me who he was. So I looked him up, and Instagram looked pretty legit. So I said, well, can you send me some samples? Like, I really don't want to place a big order. And so he sent me samples, and it happened to be actually a guy I know's brand out in Ontario. And the material was good. So I placed a couple small orders and got them in good time. And then I placed like a big, you know, big order, like $20,000. And, you know, as soon as he picked up the money, like just ghosted me for like a month. And so I'm sitting here wondering like, what is going on kind of thing. Like, I just ordered a bunch from you and you ghosted me. And so probably a month went by, and like, I'm just, you know, blowing up this guy's phone like an absolute like insane person, like calling him, texting him. Like, I got to the point where I'd actually get like a Bangladesh lawyer involved, and like there's times I was up at like 3 a.m. having like hour-long phone calls with this guy. And you know, pretty soon you know, I'm sending this guy like $500 every couple days, and like look a month later and it's like a $10,000 like American lawyer bill in Pakistan, and like nothing even came of it either. Like, he's like, well, he blocked me, like I can't do anything. And it's like, well, like he blocked me too, and he has my money and I don't have my clothing. So this one guy contacted me, and he was from Bangladesh as well, and he's like, we're so and so, like we work with these companies. And I was like, in all honesty, like I can't trust someone, you know, again with like big orders right now, because this just happened to me. And he's like, what's his address? And I was like, why, what are you gonna do? He's like, I'm gonna go get your clothing. And I was like, all right, well, here's like the invoice, this is his address. And he's like, yeah, like my best friend is the president of the Bangladesh clothing export, and my other best friend is head of like the Dhaka police. I was like, okay, like let's see what comes of this. And like 3 days later, he sent me a selfie with like all my boxes, and he's like, they're on the way, brother.
That's a good way to earn trust.
Yeah, so like that's eventually, like that's who I work with now, and he's been like honestly amazing. He I fully just switched over to him I think 2 weeks ago after he switched companies and started his own thing and got away from his partner. So that's who I'll be doing everything through now. And you know, he works with big brands like Element, some Under Armour and stuff like that. So I know that he's like a reputable supplier.
He's like the Batman of clothing suppliers, like vigilante justice.
Yeah,
at
like
its finest. Yeah.
I honestly just thought I was going to be out like 30K too. And I just came to terms with that until he sent it. And I was like, wow, like there actually is some good people left in this world, which is like, I don't even know if someone in Canada would do that for someone, honestly. So I was pretty shocked when it actually happened and they showed up. So yeah.
Yeah, he's earning some business for
Yeah,
sure. Like he
exactly.
did some good for you. Go ahead, Lundy.
So after you got your clothing back, did you give that guy your lawyer's address to go get your 10 grand back from the lawyer?
No. That I probably got fleeced there for the amount of work he did. You know, like I don't actually know what he did besides a few emails and calls maybe, but I don't think it was worth what he got
picked up the
paid.
phone. Oh, sorry, man, I tried.
Yeah,
Didn't get
literally.
Just when you think you could trust a lawyer.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you've done a lot too. Like, you know, we've got some hats from Stride too. You did some stuff for them. Talk a little bit more about that, because you're trying to really help out a lot of businesses kind of get their brands out there. You mentioned golf courses too.
Yeah, I just, after, you know, I sat down with a golf course in Calgary and I heard what she was paying for, you know, some other brands' polos and kind of what she was spending. So she was having to spend about like $300K a year just on clothing, and she was stuck with probably like 200 of it at the end of the year. And it was all just to get deals on golf clubs. But, I said, like, does anyone like really buy golf clubs from courses? And she's like, no. And that's the thing. Like, I'm stuck with all these clubs that, like, if I turn them into rentals, like, they're just a waste of money. But I just want clothing that, like, I can not order that much through. So she did her entire order through me this year and saved her about, like, I'd say 230 grand on her clothing. And it was all stuff for basically members. And then she was stuck with maybe, like, I don't know, 20 units to sell that she's already sold out of. So that's exactly what she wanted. And she got to save money. So when I gave her my pricing versus what she was paying, she was like, why is it so much lower? And it's like, well, like, I basically run this from my phone and laptop out of my house. Like, I have a storage place in my basement and I don't really have any overhead besides a website. So I can do those things. I mean, eventually I do want to get to like a small warehouse where I can, have orders going out and people sorting them. But I just think, like, right now, obviously, that some people are just paying way too much for what they're actually getting. And all the material too that you see, like, whether it's, Lululemon's probably the hardest stuff to come by and replicate that material. But stuff like, I don't know if you guys have heard of Bad Birdie, like, they're a pretty popular golf shirt. So like that fabric's easy to get. Travis Matthews stuff, the same fabric's pretty easy to get. Like, all those materials can be outsourced through my supplier. It's just having to actually send them a physical sample so they can go to the market and buy the material. But if you tell them a material and you don't actually send a physical sample, you'll be pretty mad at what you get because it's going to be nothing like you expected. So, like, a lot goes into purchasing materials, and probably to send a shirt to Bangladesh is like $110 for just a t-shirt just to ship over there. It's actually insane.
It's nuts. So you just find a shirt that you like or that's pretty popular right now, send it over there, and they can replicate it 100%.
Yeah, it's just, for me, I think material is like the most important thing, because I think the last thing anyone wants to be in is a uncomfy dress shirt, right? Like,
yeah.
Walsh owns a clothing store and he's carrying State and Liberty, which is pretty popular dress shirt. It's got that stretch. Like, no one wants to be in cotton shirts anymore, right? Like, they don't have that give to them. And I think, that's something that I think Lululemon definitely brought in, is like having that comfort and that durability to move around in. So when I want to put products out, like, what's in the back of my mind at all times is the comfort. Like, can you wear this to the gym? Can you wear this to the bar? Or is this just like something that's streetwear? And for me, like, I want to be able to wear it all places, because if I can't go home in Calgary and it's rush hour, like, I want a comfy shirt that I can at least work out in, right?
So one of my burning questions coming into today was, we got the O'Deer hat, we got the O'Deer merch with you. So awesome, comfy, but it is like so weird to see other people wearing O'Deer stuff. How cool is it for you when you see other people in Calgary, Red Deer, Alberta, wherever, seeing Unparalleled gear?
It's honestly, it's pretty cool. Like, I think it was more so in Red Deer, and now I'm starting to see it a little bit in Calgary, but probably I think the biggest, shocker was when my friend was in Mexico before COVID. He was at a resort and some guy was wearing a bucket hat. Like, I didn't even know the guy. So he just sent me a snap and he's like, who is this guy? I have no idea who that is. But it was a pretty cool picture to see. So, I mean, obviously I want to see the brand spreading, and I think it's come, a long ways since just, having your buddies purchase off you, but it's pretty cool to see stuff like that.
So what's your plan for the next 5 years? Just to stay local here, or kind of want to grow it Canada wide or beyond the borders there?
Hopefully win one of those COVID vaccine lotteries and shut it down. No, I'm kidding. No,
you're just gonna win Stampede tickets.
Yeah.
No, I definitely want to grow it to the point where maybe, I can be like a sponsor of some sort of league and start doing what, places like CCM have done. And, I'm not sure if I'd ever get into like the Jersey game, just because it's totally different. But I'd like to I think for this year or the next 2 years, my plan is to have, 10 sports teams, maybe 3 or 4 universities, and 10 golf courses. And I think that'd be a pretty good start. So I think just keep trying to grow that way and help the brand get out there, and eventually just be kind of a wholesaler and have limited edition runs of the brand is the way to go, because of the less inventory you got to worry about. It's definitely less of a headache as a business owner.
I can speak to that. I'm going to ask a question on behalf of Lundy here. He wants to know, when are you making a pineapple shirt?
Yeah,
that is a good question.
That's a great question, actually.
Well, I got a pineapple bucket hat coming.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's good, because I own pineapple shorts, pineapple shirt, but no pineapple hat.
It's on the fridge it's a
Big
to
pineapple
do.
guy,
Get a
eh?
pineapple bucket hat. Yeah.
Don't even talk to him about coconuts, though.
Are you going to get into the shoe game too? Because I'd love some pineapple shoes.
No, I'm a big Nike guy. I think we all seen how LeVar Ball tried to design his own shoes. I don't think I want to take on that big of a headache.
There's a local guy, right, that would paint some shoes for you.
Yeah, shout out Falsey.
Might be the same guy who did
Eli
your Vancouver
Falls.
Canucks shoes.
I think I had him do. My mom got me some Vancouver Canucks shoes like 5 or 6 years ago. And yeah, they were great.
Yeah, he's an awesome artist. I have to still go buy the shoes. I've been meaning to. I want to get the Nike, like in the old school cartoon Mighty Duck goalie with the mask on. I want to get the swoosh painted like that.
That's sweet.
So let's back to the bucket hats, because this year our Chubbs golf tournament, we're going with Unparalleled apparel.
Yeah, thank you guys.
We're going to be
you
peacocking.
did it. You said it.
We're going to be peacocking around that golf course with our sweet floral Unparalleled golf shirts and our bucket hat, and I cannot wait to see.
It's I'll be honest, that's a loud outfit.
Yeah.
You guys need to get some loudmouth pants for that outfit, and you guys might make it on Barstool or something.
I mean, only 80% of the guys will be wearing those shirts, because the other 20 won't be wearing any shirt. This is the way it usually goes.
Lundy's going to be wearing the floral shirt. He would be wearing the bucket hat, and then he'll have some sort of wild other pattern on his pants.
Shorts that could not clash more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think what you're hearing right now is jealousy.
We'll keep Lundy out of the main picture that we submit back to the city.
Well, you won't be able
Just
to keep
make
me
sure
out
he's
when I
wearing
win.
pants. Just make sure he's wearing pants.
Well, on that note too, you gave us a great deal on that too, and I'm guessing it's going to go up next year. It was kind of an entry one, and you should, because it comes out of Dustin's pocket anyways. But you have done and continue to do a lot of stuff too. Like for our Oh Dear apparel, you gave us the opportunity to raise some money for charity too. You gave us a pretty big chunk of that back, and you've done that a lot too. So that's obviously something that's important to you too, right? Is giving back to the community.
Yeah, I think so, and especially in certain causes like last year, I had the Frontline Strong hats. My mom's a nurse. I got a lot of friends who are nurses, and my uncle's a doctor. So that's something that I wanted to do for the frontline workers. But I think coming up, I haven't even really released it yet on social media or anything. But I had my graphic designer. She came up with a design for Orange T-shirt Day. So we're probably going to put those on sale middle of July and then cut it off in the middle of August, just so I can have that half a month for them to get in and get the people. And with that, I think, you see I'm Métis, so you see a lot of standard Every Child Matters shirt, and I wanted to come up with a design that was a little different. And so, we'll have those on sale hopefully in middle of July here and get enough sold. And I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do with the proceeds yet. One idea was maybe a scholarship to start. One idea was just to donate it to a fund, but I definitely want to do something to help Indigenous people.
That's amazing.
Yeah, good for you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was going to be my last question too. Is with your Métis roots, obviously something too. June was Indigenous History Month as well. Like, how do you keep celebrating your roots? I know on social media, we see a lot of posts from that too. But how important is that to you? I guess the example too with the T-shirt is a perfect one. That it is a pretty big thing for you still.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like it's like growing up, but like I never, I was never brought to anything really Indigenous like you see on reservations or powwows or celebrations like that. But I think just like getting older and realize where part of your ancestors come from and finding out, kind of now what's coming to light, what people went through, it's going to make it more important for me and, hopefully my kids. But I actually, like, I'm in school right now. I'm taking my MBA at the University of Calgary. I took a sustainable business development course with Indigenous people during Block Week, and during Block Week in May, and it was actually like pretty insane because my prof, like, I had him for 2 days, and he actually passed away on Tuesday night. Of that week. He was in one of the bear attacks that was in Kananaskis earlier.
Oh no!
Oh my
So
God.
like it was insane. But that whole week, like, we learned, kind of what Indigenous people went through, and we had a residential school survivor talk to us, and it was just like, I think everyone in the class like cried at some point, and just seeing, how mistreated Indigenous people have been and how it's kind of been swept under the rug for so many years. I think that in this, day and age with social media and how easy it is for people to see things, I think that it's, if there was ever a right time for things to come out, it's kind of now to show, and educate people, right? So
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, is just educate people. You wonder, you look back and you wonder why it was never taught. And, when the first residential school came out with the 215 graves, I remember saying to my wife, I never knew about this. I never heard of residential schools, and I wondered why. And now, like you said, being educated and learning, and I mean, it's so sad, and you never want to learn about it, but it's really important too for everyone.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, even with what happened, last week, and was it Regina?
Yeah, somewhere in Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, just like, I think it's just like kind of the beginning of what is going to be, found in the coming years and coming months, right? So, I mean, yeah, it's important to get educated now, because I don't know exactly what's going to come to the light in the coming months, but I don't think it's going to be anything good. So
I've been learning a lot about it, and before kind of all this came to light, you had heard about it, but I always thought that it was like way in the past. And I saw a comment just last week that said the last residential school closed when Friends was the number one TV show on TV.
wow.
Well, Friends started in 94.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's not ancient history at all. Us four were alive then. And again, we didn't know anything about it growing up, and now we're learning about it, and it's very sad, and you're right. I think we're going to learn more, and it's not going to be good, but hopefully, humanity and all of us can learn from that, and hopefully some reconciliation can happen.
Well, I think just with Jaret and Unparalleled too, just the step you're taking in making a shirt and proceeds going to some sort of cause is amazing. Like, gives me chills a little bit sitting on the couch beside you, and I look forward to getting my orange shirt here in July.
Yeah.
thanks.
And we appreciate you coming and talking about this too, because it's always, no matter who you are, it's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but an important one. So we do appreciate you sharing that too. I know it's been a little while since we've had some real talk on here, so it is. I don't know if the word is nice, but I'm glad that we can talk about this type of thing and have an Indigenous role model on here too, like yourself, to share that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
And so let me just recap here. Unparalleled, the microgreen business, you're taking your MBA and you do most of the Unparalleled stuff by yourself. Like, what do you like to do in your free time?
Last year I really got into golf, and I go to the gym every morning. That's how I start my day. So that's kind of what.
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
I go. I don't do anything, but I
He
go.
does one squat when he gets out of bed.
I've done 2 barrel bumps on this mic.
Well, I heard Blackfield's Bulldogs gym's almost done.
Yeah.
So
I'll probably see that never, but
we'll get Al Parada. He'll get you in there.
Yeah, Dust, I was on the bike for an hour today. But yeah, did you pedal though?
No, actually, I just got a puppy in February, so he takes up a lot of my free time with me and my girlfriend. So, I know he's still a handful at 6 months old. He's almost 60 pounds, so he's gonna be a unit.
What type of dog is it?
He's a mix between a Rottweiler, a German Shepherd, and a Lab. So
It's just a little.
So he's a
one,
big
yeah.
boy. Yeah.
he's a big boy. But actually, on Saturday, he actually swam for his first time in the Elbow River. So it's pretty fun to see him just paddle around out there. And then when he got, like, my girlfriend's legs just all scratched up because he kind of got taken away by the current a little bit, and he just looked for someone's leg to cling on and just scratched her. So yeah, he hits the panic button pretty hard right now. And
See, I'm not the only one who does that.
Yeah,
We just let you keep floating though.
or teaching Ted how to swim right now too. So it's going about the same.
Is that why you brought water wings today?
Yeah. Safety first with this guy.
So
Can't be
one
too
last
safe.
question. Are you going to play Red Deer Rustlers again this coming season? Because I know you commute to play too, but you've been playing in Central Alberta a couple of years. You're at Sylvan Lake the first year because Dustin didn't let you on the team.
hold on. We were full, and then I remember playing Sylvan Lake the first game, and Dempster and Pess and all those guys, they were so competitive. And I remember, I think you scored 2 goals that night, and I remember going, oh my God, that guy's got a pro shot. Is that Jaret Smith that you guys were like that Ricks and those guys were talking about coming to our team? Oh no. Dems goes, yeah, we'll get him in next year, don't worry.
Yeah, we're gonna make some cuts next year.
Ryan Lund.
Yeah, Ryan Lund. Go on.
Actually, Lund stepped down for you.
I graciously stepped away from the game just to recharge. Probably gonna come back in about 3 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna play one more year. I mean, if we would have went to provincials and won, I probably would have stopped playing. But I feel like you got to give it one more year after COVID. I don't know. It was pretty unexpected. Like, it was just an abrupt halt. Like, I mean, we're down 2-0 to Daysland, but we're still going to provincials. And I thought maybe, if a couple guys didn't go out so much in Lethbridge, maybe we'd win.
You would have been in trouble.
We might have, but I feel like every team would have.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we're going to get to the casting couch part of this interview, which is going to be off camera. So, and I guess if you're hearing this interview, everyone, then it went really well, and Smitty did great. But thank you again for coming on. You're a huge supporter of the podcast. Again, one of the first. You sponsored us. You sent us a bunch of gear. You helped us to do our own apparel, which is something we didn't even imagine would be possible, especially this soon. So lastly, it's just your chance to give everyone a plug where they can find you and what they can look forward to in the future.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. This is awesome to come on here, especially in a nice studio. I've never been in one of these before. So you can find us on Unparalleled CC on Instagram, and the website is unparalleledpw.com.
How many L's in Unparalleled?
I think 3.
How do you spell MISSIPP? Right?
There's 4. Sorry, 4. I had to do it in my head.
Just Google it. Google does that autocorrect for spelling. So.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Lundy.
Yeah.
Oh dear.